all natural.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Beach Boss. I'm your host, Michelle Yu. Joining me is the resident beach boss himself. That is Mr. Ray Paulick. Ray, I got to say, your lighting looks fantastic. For me, this is Beach Boss on the go. You guys are in Del Mar. After my trip last week, I could not make the drive. Plus, it was grandparents' day at school, and I'm kind of like a grandparent. I'm old now, so I had to be up here. But thank you for joining me once again after last week. I'm so glad to see you've climbed out of the gutter.
Well, my pick last week, Divine Armor, didn't do very well. I thought it ran horrible. And, I blame the trainer. It's whenever I have a selection that goes south, I always think it's the trainer's fault.
I like that. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
because you felt that way, I'm going to bring in our guest for this week. In case you haven't played along before, every day you at home can play against Ray in a mythical handicapping contest. We give you $100 to play in the race of our choice. But once a week, we bring in a guest handicapper to try and embarrass the bejesus out of our beach boss. This week, I'm going to bring in a trainer because Ray has such disdain. We're going to bring in future Hall of Famer trainer Doug O'Neill in for the day. Hello, Dougie Fresh.
Hey guys. Hey.
That's a great background too.
Oh, it's on the reflection. Beautiful Del Mar. Craig Dato's office doesn't get much better than this. The only way it gets a little worse as a trainer is if Ray picks your horse. But that's we're not on yet, are we? Are we on?
Oh, no, but you're lucky, Doug. Where the race that we're going to do for Saturday is actually the Native Diver, and technically there's not a horse in your name, so Ray cannot be upset at you, and he can't jinx you either. So it's like a win-win situation.
No Paul jinx. I like it. Good.
Michelle, you were doing these things during the Breeders' Cup week where you quiz trainers.
Yes.
For trivia.
Yes. I call it quizzing connections.
Yeah. So, yeah. Doug, there's a trainer that's won this race twice that has kind of an Irish name, and he's from Michigan. Do you remember what years and what horses that was that Doug O'Neill won the Native Diver?
Would it have been 2009?
You're close. I think
2008. Honestly, God, I'm so bad with trivia. I always sat next to the smart kid in school, and that was the only way I could get through. But
Sluice Tizzy in 2008.
Wow. Okay.
I got that right.
Wow. Good tab.
Skyjack.
Wow. So that would have been 2004,
2000.
2000. Wow.
2000. Oh.
Wow. Seems like yesterday.
Well, yeah. I feel like this is off to a flying start right now. Let's give Doug a question that he can get right.
Give me a true or false. A true or false.
Doug, who's the richest horse living in your barn?
Lava Man.
Lava Man. There we go. We like to talk
about these softball questions. I like this. I like the way this is going.
That's the job. That's why I'm the host and Ray's not, because you got to lob the softballs so people feel good about themselves going into here, right? Yes. Everybody had a good weekend, I'm assuming, except for Ray's pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, Doug, since you haven't played along, you probably don't watch either. You don't seem very techie to me. We're going to give you $100 mythical wager on the race of our choice, which for Saturday is race number 8, the Native Diver. It's a grade 3 event, $100,000, going a mile and an eighth on the main track right there at Del Mar. But I want to make sure you know exactly what's going on, so I'm going to let Ray go first. Age before beauty is what I always like to say. So, Ray, tell me what you're doing with your Hunsky.
I hate to be Captain Obvious here, but I just think, and last week I said I had all kinds of confidence in my pick, but 8 Rings comes out of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile running against probably the horse that ran the best race of the day in Life is Good. He tried to keep up with Life is Good early. This is a horse that's, he's kind of been a disappointment most of his career, but I think with a lot of time off going into 2021, he seems to be back in some semblance of form. And I think he's by far the best of the 3 Bafferts in here if they all stay. And he's my pick. I'm going to go $100 to win. I think he's a morning line favorite. It's 7-2. He'll probably get bet down from there is my guess. But 100 to win on 8 Rings and Juan Hernandez.
Okay, I like it. Very, very convicted there, not spreading the money around at all. So now, Doug, it's your turn. You get $100. you do not have to go the Ray way and put it all to win on one horse. You can spread it around. You can do win, place, show. What do you want to do here?
Well, I want to comment on Ray's pick.
Excellent.
To me, 8 Rings is very vulnerable. He did run a monster race against a monster horse, and Life is Good. But coming back in 2 weeks,
Well,
going to a mile and 1/8, I think it might be stretching him a little bit. So he's very vulnerable. But, you know, I can kind of see where you're going there. I'm going to throw a curveball, and I'm going to go with a horse that hasn't won in like 3 years. Like, who wouldn't go with a horse like that, right? I mean, they're so due. A horse named Bal Harbor. I'm a little biased here because Greg Sacco, good friend. He actually went to Santa Monica High School, just a little tidbit on the side there before he moved back east. But great guy, great horseman. Bal Harbor shipped into our barn. He looks phenomenal. He's just such a classy, cool horse. He's settled in good. He's eating well. He's training well. And I just think this race is so up in the air. And for Greg to deem Bal Harbor doing well enough to put him on a plane to try the native diver speaks volumes in my mind. And then you got Jersey Joe, who's going to be, you know, riding this horse so well down the lane. So I think Bal Harbor, I'm going to go 50 to win, 50 to show on Bal Harbor in the native diver.
Why that? Why win show? Why no place in there? Place just happens to be my favorite wager.
You know, I have a friend who lives in a van down by the river. Now, I got a friend who mathematically says if you take whatever you're going to wager across the board and instead split it in half and go win show, you will make more money down the road than doing $33 across the board. So,
Ray Paulick, you should write that down. It's excellent information.
You're betting to win, right? But if you don't win, you just want to try to get your money back. And how many times when you bet win, play, show, and they run third, you
right.
And a lot of times the differential and the prices from place to show aren't huge. So win show is something a gentleman named Greg Gill taught me, and I go there all the time now.
All right. I like it. Well, looking at the race, I thought Established was kind of interesting because he looked good last time out. But I went to the outside with Kiss Today Goodbye for Eric Kroljak. His last 3 races have kind of been poo-poo, but he's been training really well. He gets the blinkers on. I don't think that he's incapable of tangling with this particular group. I would say maybe on the norm, he might not exactly be a grade 3 type horse, but he is a graded stakes winner. He went to San Antonio, and this field on their best days are tough, but a lot of them have seen better days, if you know where I'm going. So I'm going to go with Kiss Today Goodbye. And I'm gonna steal Doug. I want to go win show now. I was just going to bet him to place.
I'll tell you, you won't be disappointed. We'll circle back in a couple of months. You're going to be happy with that wager.
That's going to be my new thing.
So I've got a question for Doug, and not to pick apart your pick here, Michelle.
No.
But when a horse like Kiss Today Goodbye wins a race and then is thrown into a really tough spot, like the Pegasus, he went from the San Antonio to the Pegasus, and he ran terrible. Then he didn't run good in the big. Do horses psychologically fall back when they get thrown in over their head sometimes, do you think? And not this particular horse, but can it happen?
I think it can happen. You know, horses are definitely reflections of us and their environment and their experiences. So if he had a real bad experience, sometimes it can take a little bit to get him back in the flow of things. But I do have a lot of faith in Eric Kroljak. He's a great horseman. DeSormo's riding as good as he has in a number of years. So yeah, this horse is intriguing to me. I might have landed on him if not Bal Harbor landing in our barn. But yeah, I think the time off is he's come back with some good works, and DeSormo's the kind of guy who wins races like this on horses like this. So and he's got a win over this track in the past. But a long answer, Ray, to say it can, but I would say that race in the Pegasus, put a line through it. He could very easily bounce back.
And I agree with what you said about Kent DeSormo. He's all year long. He's looked really good, I think.
Such an athlete, isn't he? That guy, it doesn't matter if he's on the basketball court, baseball, diamond, whatever he's doing that has anything to do with sports. He's an amazing athlete.
Agreed. Doug Burke, real quick before we let you go, and thank you so much for joining us here on Beach Boss. Just want to know your overall takeaways from Breeders' Cup and how excited we are to hear the Hot Rod Charlie is going to stay around for a bit.
I thought typical Del Mar, just a first-class show, and I thought it was great racing. Obviously had that little goof up in the juvenile thing, but things happen, and fortunately no one got hurt other than the bettors who drive our. Other than that, but no, I thought it was a great couple of days of racing. I thought the traffic going in and out was perfect. So hopefully Del Mar can be in some type of 4 or 5 year rotation, and we can see it down here in a routinely. That would be great.
And we're all excited about Hot Rod Charlie. How did he come out of the race?
He looks great. We took blood on him. Blood came back super. Ran him through a nuke scan just because we can. That came back clean. So he's back on the track. He actually back galloping. He'll probably breeze next weekend. And we got the clearance to campaign next year as long as he stays injury free. So we're all excited. And, just the thoughts of him having another year like he had this year would be pretty awesome. But one race at a time. And Santa Anita, here we come. That's our haven't thought too far ahead, but he'll be heading up to Santa Anita in a few weeks.
You had to be really excited. You had to be really excited about the 3/16 pole.
I was. I went a little depressed because he didn't follow the doors like he normally does. He kind of, the whole plan was Medina Spirit and Nick Sco would go on this crazy speed duel, and we'd be laying third, and just kind of got thrown a little pickle, which can happen in racing. But I turned for home. I thought we were going to get the money, and then it was really hard to rally off the pace from the inside. So anyways, we were just so proud of him, and how many chances do you get to be one of the favorites in a $6 million race? But I just can't think about it, or I tear up a little bit. I don't want to tear up in a Zoom like this. Weird, but no, he's a cool horse, and looking forward to 2022 with him.
What's
2022?
What's the earliest we'd see him?
I think the earliest you could see him would be the San Antonio. There's an option. I think, is that the name of San Antonio opening day? Or that's a possibility. So
it's like the opening day.
Met with Bill and Greg and Patrick the other day, and we're going to do the standard. We're going to listen to Charlie and let him tell us where to go, and that really is going to be the feed tub and his workouts, his energy. So if that were to just check all those boxes, that date is realistic.
Excellent. Good to hear. So that's an update real quick from our guest, Doug O'Neill, on Hot Rod Charlie, one of the stars in his barn, who is, by the way, red hot up on top of the trader standings right now in the top 3. Again, Doug, thank you so much for joining us on Beach Boss. For everybody along playing at home, you can play for free every day against Ray. Just go on to dmtc.com/contest and go on to Beach Boss. You're going to get your free $100 and get to wager on the race of our choice every single day. At the end of all of this, whoever wins and beats Ray gets a 2022 VIP trip to Del Mar, including 2 nights hotel and a travel stipend. Plus, Ray even threw in a handicapping seminar with himself, although, like I like to say, if you beat him, I don't know how much information you really want from Ray, but hey, it sounds good in the package anyways. Tomorrow at Del Mar, Saturday, is Beer and Fizz Fest in the Beer Fest area at the west end of the grandstand. It is open to all track attendees. And don't forget, the Fall Handicapping Challenge is next closing Saturday. $3,000 buy-in. You can play on track or through TVG. So those are 2 ways to do that. We still have 2 weekends left of racing at the Great Race Place, including holiday racing next weekend for Thanksgiving. So without further ado, gentlemen, thank you so much. Best of luck on your wagers. And thank you, everybody at home, for joining us on Beach Boss.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Doug.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Michelle.